G'day, Saturn. How are you, buddy? Trying to get things organized here. Running a little late today. Something to get done earlier. I just have had some gastro issues that I've had to deal with. Hey, one girl. How are you guys? I'm a little confused. I'm a little discombobulated at the moment, guys. I do apologize. I was hoping to be a bit more organized, but that's kind of the whole concept of like today. Today's topic is mostly about it's about overthinking and Um, I'm a little I've had a lot of issues in the last couple weeks. I've kind of got my mental state in all sorts of disarray. So I do apologize if I'm not quite yeah, no, I am. And yeah, I've been fighting a tummy bug, so that's not helped. It's got me about an hour behind. I go to set up my face rig and my face rig's all screwed up. All my previous saves have disappeared somehow. I don't know how, but anyways, it's an easy fix for me. Um, but it's enough to kind of throw you off a little bit. So see if we can get this fixed, and hopefully this will stop being an issue. At least this much is done. All right. So yeah. Anyways, I was just gonna today. I was gonna work on. I wanted to talk a bit about overthinking, and I've been trying. And speaking of, that's kind of the whole concept of what I've been trying to work through. If I don't mind, I want to do something quiet. I want to do um, just something quiet in the background. Nothing too much, just nice. Um, but the whole, yeah, like I said, the concept that I want to work through now. First and foremost, full disclosure to any of you guys. So this is obviously getting recorded, and the VOD will be released. And eventually, I would like to update things to MOvember, um, to YouTube and that sort of thing. But I've, it's been a dream of mine for a while to thank you for the gifts. Oh, okay. Yeah, overthinking, overthinking. Um, it's I don't know. Okay, hold on. I don't know if I can get the music in here or not. See if I can. Give me 1 second. Um, let's see how I've got this in, just so I know where is that coming in from. That's just coming that way. Okay, let's see if we can do. You got a master's in it. Music's a bit loud. Yeah, I'm working on it. I'm working on it. Because I don't want it here. I want it here. So I need to add it. Um, okay. Pleasant. Pleasant. I want it there, but I don't want it override. So I will just give me seconds. I'll set up some filters, some filters. So you guys don't hear it as loud. But it's more in my ears. It's more about my ears that I want to hear it. Yeah, and that's kind of the whole concept. So I was hoping through the month of November, obviously celebrating Movember, We are here to kind of bring light to. Currently, the focus is, as MOvember states, the focus is on men's health, men's mental health, and creating a safe space for men to feel comfortable to chat. Is that better? I feel like it's still coming across louder than it should. Um, and I've been writing notes. Still a bit loud. Perfect, perfect for Saturn. Okay, hold on. I'll just take it down a couple more. How's that? Does that work? Much better. Okay. Yeah. So the whole concept is for us to create a safe space. Safe space to talk about. So overthinking was what I was working on this year. Um, and I have been writing notes, and so if you guys bear with me, there was a way I could put things up, and let's see if we can create a way to um, do some dot points and talk about some things. As I'm starting to kind of figure out, so I've been wanting to kind of do something for the whole concept of me coming into to starting the stream was to create a spot where I could talk to people. And as I was trying to say, and before I get distracted, because squirreling is obviously part of my concern, part of my issue, is that I can squirrel away a little bit, so I don't want that to take over um, my little buddy here, Amos. Say good day, Amos. Hello, Amos. He's here to he's not meant to kind of distract me, but he's more meant to kind of help give me a focal point. That's his purpose. But it can be distractive. But more about me, as I was trying to say, is that I kind of come here in the sense that I started here 5 years ago, in the sense that I wanted to find a place that I could help and reach as many people as I could to help be a source of information. I'm not an expert. I don't have any degrees. I don't have any certifications. I do have training through certain aspects of my life, whether it be the military or through corrective services, and that sort of thing, as well as experience, hands-on experience. I've done some mental health triage. I've done, um, some sort of mental health suicide gatekeeping training. I've done all sorts of different types of training in those areas, but not. I don't carry any sort of degrees. I don't claim to be a counselor, and I don't claim to be a doctor of any sorts. Um, I don't carry those titles, but I do hope that I can be either some sort of a conduit or a maybe a tour guide, if you could say, without lack of a better way of putting it, of getting people the direction to help that they need. Um, so what I'd like to try to do is while I'm here on my first day, without overthinking it too much, um, creating a sort of a platform here for people to see. Why did that stop? Of course, Discord being Discord. Um, a way to put in things like, obviously, I don't know how to do like a ticker tape. Is there a way to put an alert in? Let's see. Work with me, guys. So I'm open for questions. If anybody wants to have any questions, if they want to touch base, I am open to also open up the channels. I don't know if we could do that through here. That's another thing I wanted to see about through my stream together setup. I think you can invite call-ins. Okay. Okay. So, what do you call it when your feelings for another hurt even more than them? Well, that's a form of empathy, isn't it? You know, feeling the if you actually physically feeling the emotional attachment to others' ailments, and that's an empathic ability. Saturn. Most generally, women women are, and I'm then not trying to say it's sexist, but women are built inherently, genetically better for empathic sorts of abilities, and it does something that men can sometimes pick up the traits either through experiences or other means. But by all means, it's a deep sense of connection to those people, and you can feel it as well. I mean, that was a part of the issue that I had with corrective services when I was working with them. And we'd get some people that I'd work with were just, you know, unfortunately just lost causes. They were a subject. They were a victim to their own environments, and they kind of kept themselves in that, and it was hard to kind of work through that. But in my role, I couldn't physically change anything. All I could do was show up, be there, answer questions if need be. Try to find a way that that would either, if I could demonstrate a way to change your perspective, then great. If not, then that's just it is what it is. Um, but it's not a bad trait. It's actually quite a good trait, Saturn, to answer your question. To be able to connect with others in that way. Um, and it's just a sense of caring. It's just a sense of caring. It's just a sense of attachment to people. So, and we do that. I think especially with a lot of the people we hear used to, about Jackie, the man's. And I'll read this out loud for those that maybe can't see it. I don't know if this will go into my YouTube, but I'll read these messages to you guys so that people can understand what's being said in the conversation. And it's repeated as, or it's referred to as my heart is still broken about Jackie. Jackie being a friend of ours who's recently had to deal with some medical issues that have caused some life changing outcomes. I won't give details. It's not my place to do so, but it is definitely life changing. And when you're faced with that sort of stuff, and whether you're um, actively a part of it or not, it's hard not to feel for that person. It's hard not this to kind of have a deep, deep, strong feelings towards what's happening, because you can almost put yourself in their shoes, whether through your own experience or through others. And there's that the impact coming through. Um, but it's hard. It's very hard, and But all we can do at this stage, Saturn, is in that sort of situation, in my view, is that we try to shed as much positivity in their direction. We try to try to. I don't want to say make light of things because obviously it could be a little insensitive if we do. Um, but definitely hard, big hugs, and if you're the religious sort, prayers by all means, positive mental attitude, PMA has been proven over and over and over again to be one of the greatest battles against negative outcomes in the medical profession. So, whether you do it through some sort of supportive measures, whether it be flowers. And speaking of, I would like to know if anybody taking collections. Is anybody taking collections Saturn? Do you know? Is lady for maybe a card or for some flowers or anything? I can't do it today, but I would like I would like to put maybe $20 or anything towards some flowers or something to her to let her know that we're all thinking of her and that we miss her and we look forward to her, you know, getting back to the fold soon, as soon as she's physically capable. Yeah. So we'll reach out to Lady Orc and see if maybe we can get organized to do something like that. Rightio. Do we not have what's that program called? PowerPoint. All right, let's see what we can do with this. Wrong picture. Let's swap it. Let's swap it around, shall we? Let's look at let's look at that. All right, let's work on. Yeah, she's gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. I love her. I love her. I love her outlook, and I'm really she's got this infectious nature about her that she's just easily drawn to. Um, and it's been quite a journey getting to know her. So let's help me work out a little bit. We're going to talk a little bit more about. I don't know how this is going to help us here, but we're going to try anyways. um, I don't know. We don't want at that. And I don't know if they're going to create a presentation. I do want to create a presentation. So if we create a presentation. A religious prayer is in order, and I'm strong Catholic and even choir singer. But it's deeper than me. Just it's my faith. It's me. Fair enough, and that's what I'm saying. It's like, um, whether you're a believer of whatever you choose to believe, whether it be I'm not going to list them all, but just it comes back into that whole sense of being a part of the bigger picture, being a part of a bigger picture. I think that's kind of the way it's better to look at. Um, is that when people realize that we are just a small cog in this whole big wheelhouse of life, we start to realize that there is something greater than us. It doesn't matter what you call it or how you refer to it. There's always something greater. um I mean, why else exist? Why else do what we do? We set goals and we strive to be nice to people and that sort of thing, the golden rule, as they say. But if you do that without purpose, there's got to be some level of faith in there, right? So, thoughts and prayers. Thoughts are enough to. It's like a prayer, isn't it? We are stardust, exactly. Um, and I was thinking that the other day. It's funny we say that, Saturday. I was the other day. I was walking outside, taking the trash out. And it was nighttime. And I look up at the sky, and I've got this amazing view. I don't know if you guys have seen it. Carl Sagan, yeah, yeah. I don't know if those have had an opportunity to witness an how would you say it? When we look at the skies, quite often there's usually surrounding ambient lights that can kind of dull the what the sky has to offer. Um, and I've had the opportunity to be out in the middle of the ocean, the Pacific or the Atlantic, where there's nothing around us but the ship that I'm on. And I was obviously in the Navy at the time. Um, and you look up the sky and there's nothing around you except, hello, Ribbon, how are you? Except just a huge dusting of stars. Oh, it's amazing. We see photos, we've seen videos, but there's nothing like seeing it for yourself. And if you've ever had an opportunity to be in a place where there's nothing to tarnish that view, it's just breathtaking. And I was often thinking to myself the other day, I said, you know what, when we pass, and I mean, I have faith, but I have no idea where I'm going at the end of it all. I have no idea where any of us are going. If there's even an afterlife and what the afterlife is even going to be like, because nobody's come back to tell us. So it's an opportunity where we can kind of look up and start thinking to ourselves. I like here's my here, and this is what I was thinking about. I look up. There's one star constellation that I've always been drawn to, and I think you guys know some of the constellations, but it's always been Orion. Orion, the star constellation of Orion. And Orion's Belt, which is highly recognizable as part of the Big Dipper collection. Um, absolutely, just I've always found Orion no matter what part of the world I've been in, whether it be here or in the States or in the middle of the ocean or anywhere for that matter. Um, and I was thinking to myself, wouldn't it be amazing, that at the end of it all, that we find ourselves amongst the stars, that we're a part of that whole concept of that. Those are the souls of us that have gone before us. Where they're part of a whole. It's crazy to think about. Absolutely crazy to think about. Yeah, we were saying we went to go watch the P. Yeah. Isn't it amazing? Yeah, if you get an opportunity to do that, go out in the back of a pickup truck or something, or just lay under the stars for a night when there's nothing around you, and just have a look. It's the most amazing. It is. It's humbling. It's as you say, it's very, very humbling. How do you just feel so small, don't you? Feel so small to it all. It's like it's an unreal experience. There it goes. Boom, my I love when my emails go stupid. There we go. That's what I was looking for. Oh, it's free. Free. All right, so let's. I don't know what we're gonna do here. So I wanted to kind of do it together. Um, wait a moment of thought sounds proper. Yeah. And you guys work with me here. This work together. And see if we can't come up with some ideas about, overthinking, and what it means when we overthink and how it affects us when we overthink. There's a lot of things that can affect a person when they're overthinking, and we want to kind of see together collectively, as men especially, um, give examples that we've done in our lives. How do we how do we work through it? You know, how it affects us. I mean, have you guys ever done that? Have you ever been like that? Where you just feel like, you can't not overthink it enough. Like I used to get accused quite often. Hey, what's up, buddy? Um, like overthinking, overthinking is can be debilitating, and I know it's for me. It has been, it has been at times where I have. Like, here's a prime example. Things that I should be doing when I overthink it, I'll end up talking myself out of it. Either do some sort of level of anxiety has kicked in. Um, yeah, you could, AR, if you wanted to join in, and as long as you were talking about the subject matter. Today we're talking about overthinking. We're talking about how and it's all kind of focused on Movember. So how men have kind of dealt with it, with overthinking in their own lives. By all means, I'm open to anybody joining in and having a chat, and will give us some ideas to help others like ourselves. I'm hoping to do this every week for the next 4 weeks, um, just to kind of give us something to focus on November. I am also, for those that are not aware, but I am also working on. Um, that reminds me, I am also working on 60Ks in 30 days. That's my current goal. So I have done the first 3 days. I did. Then I end up had to take yesterday off because some gas story issues. But I made up for it today. So 1.5 Ks today, 1.5 tomorrow. Then for the next 10 days, it'll be 2Ks a day. Yeah, no, yeah. So it should end up with. So the first 5 days so the way I planned it was first 5 days was 1K a day. Then the next 20 days was 2Ks a day, and then there's 2.5 Ks. Hello, Mama Bear. Good day, love. How are you? Um, then 2Ks a day, um, 2.5Ks a day at the last 5 days, and that should work me out. So, and that's may not sound like a lot to some people, but it's a lot to me because um, it's I've not been physically active as I used to be. So it's taken a little bit for me to get back into the movement and feeling my body get to, what I'm saying? It's like you can feel, hello, Rose, how gorgeous. Like what's it they call it? It's muscle dystrophy. No, what's it when your muscle seize up? what is it when your muscle seize up from lack of use? It's that sort of atrophy. It's atrophy, I think it is. Muscle atrophy. So, and that what happens when we sit for too long. Even though we get up, walk to the kitchen, the back, it's not enough. And I'm starting to, it's taking me a long time because I've lived in such a dark cave hiding from years of you know bullying and workplace at the workplace that I worked in, and lack of just, yeah, a lot of stuff. I can't, there's too many things for me to list, but they're in my head. These are my sort of things that I've kind of had to deal with, and so it's my way of trying to, like I said, it's kind of what's kind of, well, it's kind of it's kind of what's driven me to kind of do what it is I want to do to help, to be there to help people. Ice cream, you with egg, ice cream with eggnog? What? What is that? I like eggnog. Why is this not working? I'm already in. Okay, so that's just weird. Anyways, this should be working right now. I do apologize, guys. And I'm pretty sure Go the Mo is down there, right? Go the Mo. Yeah, Go the Mo. Go the Mo. There you go. So this is where we're trying to raise money. So over the this is my fourth year, I think, and I've raised up to $525 over the last 4 years. So, I don't ask anybody to, if you can't, that's fair enough. And it's just like I said, the support of you guys being here is more important than anything. Um, and I like to keep that sort of that concept. You guys are my rock, and I look forward to you guys being a part of this. You know, I work to survive in my other job that pays my bills. This not so much pays anything, really. I don't make a lot of money doing the streaming stuff. I do this because I like being here. I like hanging out with amazing people, and I like being a part of a community of like-minded individuals. And I like the fact that I've met some wonderful, wonderful souls, and people like Mama Bear, who's been a huge support. Skunk has been an amazing friend. Um, you know, Meeting other people like that I've met through networking, like through Lady Oric and Saturn, and everybody else. Even the old crew, Karina and Wario and that sort of. They were all they all bring some amazing memories, and some verifications why validations, shall I say, of why I do what I do. I love being here. But again, I'm squirreling, and I get that, because we're all talking about overthinking, and this is kind of where things go for me. Um, and of course, amazing people like Rose and Wookie, who have been, they've been quiet supporters since day one. I've got others that I could name, but I don't know if they necessarily like me calling them out. I've got amazing people. I can look here, and I can go and click on my little users tab, and I can see people in here. I can see names of people that I won't call them out, but knowing that they're there, it doesn't. It just people don't realize the those that don't actively play a part of this don't realize how encouraging and how supportive even just knowing you're there. And Twitch is doing whatever it's doing by, they're not validating the number of viewers. So when they go to look at the numbers, and fair enough, they're a business. They're trying to do their thing without cutting their own throats. So they're making it harder for people to be a part of that partnership, and I respect that. I respect that. It's not an industry that's easy to get into. Um, I don't know if it's something that maybe they could look at if people say, "I've got the tick, I don't need to work anymore." They stop bringing it in. Maybe that's something they could start looking at. Well, we can hire you, I can fire you, sort of thing. That's to me, it's more of it's a job. But for those that are here and those that aren't speaking up, those that I know that are in the that are in my they're in the chat, whether you're lurking or not, thank you for being here. Let me say that first and foremost. This little segment's supposed to be for a couple hours. And so I did get a little bit of an hour late start because of some issues that I had to deal with this morning. But to know that I've done my K and a half this morning, so that's good. It's a good start. In spite of the issues I had to deal with this morning, I managed to work through that. But okay, what's the ads I got as a pre-roll? The cheap Chinese water level maintainer that's screwed on to. Yeah, right. Really? It's different for everybody. I don't know, man. Like obviously in Australia, we get different ads than what you guys get over there. So I get a lot of tab or like was it it's big thing over here at the moment is horse racing and that sort of stuff. So there's a lot of those ads that come across for us about racing apps and that sort of stuff, betting apps, and then of course bet responsibly. Better that you don't buy into that if you can't afford it, sort of thing. It's funny to watch. But yeah, no, but we get no Foster's ads over here, just so you guys know. You Americans get all your Foster's ads. Like that's give me some of the weirdest work. Okay, we're gonna go off for a little bit. Okay, we'll come back to overthinking, and we've talked a bit about overthinking. Um, the fact that you get car ads, yeah. um, for the Kentucky Derby, yeah. Over in Melbourne, where the biggest race of the year was, which was just yesterday. It shuts down like the whole. So it's been a 4-day weekend for those guys, right? So, doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. So if you guys don't know, what is the audio call-in? Yes, this is what we got going on, guys. So the audio call-in and what I've set up now, Mace, is once a week for the next 4 weeks for the month of November or MOvember. I'm gonna be sitting here making myself available for us to chat about men's stuff, men's health, that sort of thing. And kind of explain what I'm here for and be just to be a sounding board. I was hoping to be organized, a bit more organized, because I wanted to be able to interview one other guy, one other person that I know. I've got one person that I think hopefully get better organized for next week. Today was going to be about overthinking. That was kind of the concept of today's topic, but it was more about us as men to be able to talk about whatever we want to talk about. And yes, there is ability to call in, through the was it the um what do they call it? Stream share, when you do the share chats and that sort of stuff. So you can actually do a call in segment. So you can set it up so you know subscribers and members can call in and have a chat, and that's kind of what I wanted to do, so that you guys, if you guys wanted to call in and have questions and have a chat and that sort of stuff, it was going to be set up for that. So Oh, she gets pissy. Uh, hey man, you know what? I'm just here to try to be help, and I've had, it's funny. I've helped a lot. I hope I've reached a few people. When I started with corrective services, it's amazing. I had within the first couple of months, I had a guy that came and worked for. He was court ordered to come and do community work, and I had to supervise him. And you guys want to know my role was that I was a community work supervisor for 14 years. Basically, I covered I covered. I supervised a group of individuals, up to 8 individuals, who were subject to court orders to do so many hours of community work, whether based on fines or conversions or court ordered or prison releases and that sort of stuff. Parole guys. And one of the first guys I had was the father of a kid that I used to coach. So I already knew him, and that was kind of a bit of a humbling experience for on his part, because when I knew him as a coach, as a father and the coach, you don't know them, you don't know the past. You refuse to, yeah. I used to think that that's what they want us to do. They want us to shave it. No, I've actually got the curly mo you see on the face of my avatar is almost identical to the mode that I support. But I also have a beard as well. So, but I get compliments at work all the time, and so it's cool. I like it. I like the fact that I'm growing it more and more. It's getting bigger every year. It's getting bigger every year. But but yeah, it's been a fun journey. This mustache. Yeah, if the hairs could talk, I tell you. You once saw two people with the waxed curls. Yeah, isn't it great? I know that in certain cultures, like in India, certain parts of India, it's highly revered. I get a lot of Indian customers that they really kind of they like, wow, nice mustache, nice mustache. I'm like, yeah, thank you, man. Um, it's crazy. But as I was saying, the guy that I support, that I chatted to, that I supervised, it was really kind of humbling to watch him, be a part of that. And as I saw him, and you don't, like you said, you don't know their lives, you don't know anything about them. But I learned quickly about things that he had to do, and he did it because it doesn't, and it doesn't really matter. Do I have any connections to religious organizations or help from psychology? So when I was in the Navy, I went through a lot of training and courses. I went through My first wife was an alcoholic. So that was something I had to come to terms with. So when I went through my own 12-step program through Al-Anon, um, and worked through the 12 steps and understanding. I attended the meetings and I studied the books, and then through the religious connection, through the religious sects of the Navy, I had connections through their chaplaincy programs, which allowed me to then go through other, like personal growth retreats and child retreats and these sorts of things, which helped a lot of issues. I was able to resolve some childhood traumas that I didn't even know existed, and other things. And probably one of my most favorite uh, events was being a part of that inner child, the inner child retreat. That was just a phenomenal experience in its own. Let alone the personal growth retreat, which allowed me to, like I said, delve into parts of me that we push back, as we do. We tend to put things behind us that we don't care to deal with or talk about. But getting back to the guy I was working with, he came to me, and it was like I didn't do anything different, other than just talk to him, be there, and try to just be patient with him, let him do his thing. And I never judged him. And I think he appreciated that more than anything, is that regardless of his background, the fact that I knew him as a father, and supportive, as a supportive father to his son, when I coached him in sports. um and he was humbled by the fact that I didn't treat him differently. You know, he came to do a job, we got the job done, we go home. And you know, I didn't treat him like a criminal. I didn't treat him like that. And he appreciated it. He says, you know what? He said, I don't know if I could have done it without you. He came to me like, you know, toward the end of his term, and he shook my hand and he thanked me. And it was just that sort of thing that made me realize, you know, sometimes that's all you need to be is just a kind ear. Just you don't I don't go through I try not to judge anybody. I try to be very unjudgmental, and you know, treat everybody with a bit of the same sort of open heartedness. And it's not always easy, because we do get hurt and we get traumatized by people, and we can identify those people through, you know, through skin color or through backgrounds or through whatever. And you know, and like Candy says, or sorry, like one girl says, you know, you know, a lot of times we can have things like childhood traumas that can feed into our, you know, into our current lifestyles and choices and how we treat people. So, you know, it's crazy. Holdra, you gorgeous thing. How are you? It's almost 3 a.m. Oh, I know who that was. That was Holdra. Why are you up at 3 o'clock in the morning? Thank you so much for that, Holdra. I appreciate it, love. You gorgeous thing. Look, but yeah, so I'm here. Um, I'm here to kind of do what I'm here to do. And that, you know, that's to be here to talk about whatever we can talk about. So uh, this week was about overthinking. I've rambled on a bit, guys, and I do apologize. I was hoping to be a bit more structured, but that's kind of what my overthinking's done for me. It's allowed me to kind of very disorganized. You know, I've got experiences of all sorts of stuff, but again, disclosures: I'm not a counselor. I'm not a psychiatrist. I do not have a degree. I do not have certifications. I just have life experiences, that I want to share and I want to be a part of, and I want to, you know, I want to help support and be a light. And that's kind of, I think I say it all the time. You know, let me be the light to your darkness, because I think quite often a lot of these things do put us in very dark spaces, and if we're not, you know, if we don't find somewhere to get support, whether we need it or not, whether we ask for it or not, we get sometimes so overwhelmed that we don't, you know. You dreamt that you had a knock on the door, couldn't go back to sleep, then realized you were probably like, so here I am. Ah, that was me. That was me. I knocked on your door, Holder. I woke you up. That was me. Sorry. Mace, the Solex account, your account wouldn't let you watch for some reason on your main company account. Okay. Failure code. Okay, no worries. Um, I can't keep up with you, Mace. You change your name all the time. What's up with that, man? You make it all. It was a good distraction for your brain. Oh, good. I like your emotes. Oh, those are these gorgeous emotes. Oh, little huskies. Why are you getting your map done? Okay, cool. But so yeah, so for the next 4 weeks, starting today, MoChat is plain as your face is basically what we're doing here. Today was about overthinking. You know, like okay, well there you go. Not that you're bragging, that's fine. I was hoping to kind of break it down in 4 different segments. I was wanting to get you know, at least one guy a week get started. And if this works out good, if I can finally get myself together and organized, and I looked, I think, to people to help me kind of, and maybe I am looking to help get people to help me or get organized. I would like to get this more structured, and I would like to get myself, you know, working through it, whether through an online course or something. But that takes money, and money I don't have at the moment. But hopefully, you know, in time, and you know, with support, I could get there. But you know, I want to be able to help more people. So once a week, if this can continue, I would like to see this go beyond the 4 weeks. But for now, this is about MOvember, supporting men's health, mental health, um, through other things about, you know, stuff, whether it be through just giving a place for men to talk about men's stuff, or a place to talk about, you know, dealing with sort of not just mental health, but also stuff like testicular cancers and that sort of thing, which is what obviously, you know, MOvember reaches out to all three aspects. not just men's health, but mental health and suicide prevention, as well as testicular cancers, prostate cancers, that sort of thing. So it's all about raising money and awareness to that sort of thing. I've seen, like, in there with our industries here, especially in our area here, they have a thing called Men's Shed, and I don't know where you're at or what you have going for you. Um, but make sure you guys look to um, to finding a way, a healthy outlet of sorts. Whether it be through music. I've got another guy who joined. He plays music, and so he's quietly joined a little band on the side. And it doesn't have to be one of those stand before the audience. Just a group of guys getting together in somebody's garage. Even at 60 years old, you can still join a garage band. You know what I'm saying? It's just a way to keep yourself active and moving, and trying to stay connected to something out there. And by all means, like I said, my door is always open. I'm always open to people and try to be there for people. So, but we are focusing on mental health, and we're focusing on Movember this week. I'll get back to my gaming stuff the next couple of days, but today it's all about being here for you guys, and hanging out and being a part of something bigger than I am. And so, again, my motivation is to help people give a place to talk and chat and feel connected to things. And if you guys want to support me, by all means, please, click the link. You could do the command of, what is it? Go the Mo, I think it is. I've got to get that one added too. That's the one. Thank you, Mama Bear. That's the link there. We'll take you to help donate, or to give you, if you want to know a bit more what's happening, what Movember is all about. That will also get you to that, to tell you more about what's happening. So, please, by all means, go and have a look, and I'll share a couple of things here. Hopefully that'll work. Okay. But we're talking about, and they're funny about these things, like, go and have Bill hang it, check out your pairs. Bit of a giggle here, boys, but there's a video. So, you guys, do you know how to check? Girls know how to check, right? Girls are taught about breast cancer and how to look for lumps and that sort of stuff. Well, guys should do the same. Make sure that you check yourself out. When you have in a shower, take a minute or two. Taking more than three. If you've taken more than two, we know why you're there. But just remember, it doesn't take much, and it's a very important skill. Exactly. We started very young, but if you take a moment and try to just see what's happening down there, get familiarized with it, you'd be surprised. You could save yourself a lot of issues. I know things too here. There we go. This needs to be in a sultry woman's voice. Warm up in a steamy shower. This relaxes and loosens your nuts, getting them ready to be checked. With your thumb and your finger, roll one testicle. Get to feel what's normal for you. Now repeat the other side. Check them both, guys. Make sure you check them both. And if there's any discomfort, if there's any soreness, be aware of that. Make note of that. That could be an issue. No two nuts are the same, but keep checking your pair regularly. Like this will help you spot changes over time. If you're not sure what to look for, you're looking for, something different. If you're feeling something like lumpy, or if you're feeling something that's not really fair, all right, or if you're feeling soreness, or be aware of that. It's important. What they call it here is you feel this little vesicular part of the back. It's called the epidermis. It's totally normal. It's part of that whole seminal tract. If you're feeling something not right, lumps can be a part of the normal test ownership. Lumps can come in all shapes and sizes. Be painful or not painful. If you notice a change or found something that wasn't there before, get it checked out, guys. Don't hesitate. I like these. They're all different. I like that they're all different. Glitter. Did your partner go to have a rave last night? Yeah, these are the, again, check them out, man. If you're seeing something that's not right, if the skin's kind of rashy or anything like that sort of stuff. If you're lucky, your partner went on a rave last night, right? Whew. This is the granddaddy's pair. And that girl's boobs is not unusual to have one longer than the other, fellas, just so you know. Again, swelling, pulling sensations, dull aches, those are things that you need to have looked out. But I think it's enough. Enough. Go on, have a feel. Go on. Oh, he's got a mustache. But I'll leave that there, guys. But look, seriously, make sure that you're looking after yourself. Yeah, it isn't a good test from your family, medical nurses and doctors. And yeah, you know what? And you gotta be above it. You gotta swallow your pride sometimes and just make sure you get looked after, because men generally don't talk about these sorts of things. We don't really want to talk about it, because for us it's embarrassing, or if it makes us feel for whatever reason. Um, we're talking about prostate cancers. Again, it's not a comfortable test. It's not something, but they do it nowadays, or they do it through blood works. So the days of being finger prodded up to your back passage, as they call it, it's not as often as they do as you used to. So no excuses, fellas. As the saying goes, a little prick can save your prick. So go get yourselves looked after. Make sure you go and see a doctor on occasions. I'm not telling you to go on a weekly basis, but if you can, make sure, if you, for whatever reason, if you're not feeling 100%, go see a GP. Go to the emergency room. Do whatever you got to do to get yourself looked after. And even if it's like I said, Saturday, once every 6 months. Once every 6 months for the lifetime, it's not very much, is it? Yeah. So, but definitely got to get ahead of the game. But if your missus or your partner or whoever's with you is kind of, you know, poking and prodding and telling you go and get looked after, do it. They'll be happy. You'll be happy. And you'll be surprised. The outcome's probably in your favor. But if not, you got nobody to blame but yourself. I had recent experience with my brother. Had issues with his bowels for some time. Didn't speak to anybody about it. Didn't talk to anybody about it. Didn't want to know it. He chose to kind of keep it to himself, and then one day he got to the point where he had such an issue, he went and had the doctor. He ended up having to go to the doctors. His lack of attention to the details of his body led him to have a large mass in his lower intestines. As a result of that, he ended up with a ruptured lower intestines. He had emergency surgery. His lower intestines had to be removed. Which basically, if you don't know what that means, so the lower intestines' main job is to collect and to basically reassemble all the waste products. So that's where, obviously, where the feces fecal matter is then collected and gathered and creates, there our poos or whatever you want to call them. Um, then for us to deposit them as we do. Without it, it's pretty much a watery mess. So he's had to go from having a normal lifestyle to now having his small intestines connected strictly to his rear end, but as a result too, he's also had to go onto a colostomy bag, which again is another one of those life-saving, life-changing experiences. For those who've never experienced a colostomy bag, it's just that sort of a bag that's connected to your waist to your wastage. It collects all the fecal matter that's through waste from your body, and you have to basically dispose of it, any way you can. And you're carrying around this bag with you in your clothing and however. So it's an embarrassment in some cases, but it's a life, it's a life or death situation. So colostomy bag, yep. So it's a humbling experience, and so, but again, and that's kind of further on because now my brother's now has progressed to stage 4, and he'll be lucky to see Christmas this year. So, and he's only 64. So, gentlemen, I say that not to scare you, but I say that to more say, the responsibility comes down to you guys. Make sure you look after yourselves, please. Take the moment and go and see a GP. Go and follow the advice, or do the research. If you can't be bothered to follow the advice, at least do the research. Make sure you are getting educated though. Don't just go willy nilly and think that whatever some hack job's going to tell you to do this or that. Make sure you are doing the research. So it is very important that you guys look after yourselves. Be aware of your body. Get it done. Exactly. Get it done. I had a heart attack at the age of 47. I was at the height of my physical fitness. I was CrossFitting 5 days a week. I was doing mud runs on the weekends and that sort of stuff. And it all came to years of what I could basically say come down to years of smoking. I did smoke for a while, but again, genetics is also a thing that kind of comes into place, as you can see here. Age, family history. So pay attention. If there's things in your family genetically, that cancer is a thing or whatever, that then you could be subject to that. So being mindful of that. Certain races also are more subject to certain illnesses that others aren't. But please make sure you guys look after yourselves. And as we get older, once you get over 40, guys, it's more important that you pay more attention to what's happening. So, just remember we're here. I'm here. My friends, my fellow testicular men, my testicular friends, I come to you and I call upon you guys to come and help. And I know a lot of you guys will. So, but just know that we're here to help each other, and that's what we're doing. But the women do it quite easily. Men, just know we're all here. Please, by all means, come together. My Discord door is always open, and if you guys feel comfortable enough to reach out to me, please do so. I may not answer straight away, but I will answer. Okay. So you guys are amazing and awesome. And I am going to start wrapping up here because this is where I kind of wanted to end it around 11 o'clock. I want to do it from 9 to 11. So every week, guys, my time is 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., which East Coast is 10 8. Was it 8 p.m. to 10 p.m.? Mr. Tools, thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate you, man. Together. Hopefully by next week I'll be a little bit more organized, and I do have a topic for next week. So next week's topic, we're going to be talking about fatherhood. So that's going to be, and I'm going to have a guest with me next week. We're going to be a little bit more organized, hopefully, and I'll have a bit more structure going on. But today was just a bit of a tester for me. I don't have a problem talking per se. I can do, like I said, I can get a bit squirrely, and I try not to do that, but it does happen. So I have to kind of get myself more organized with my notes. I do have a notebook in front of me. I've got a big wall behind me of visions. I got a vision wall board behind me of all sorts of things that I've been working on, trying to get together for the last 10 years. So this is the first step towards that, getting it more permanent. So, but I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me today, and I want to thank you guys for being a part of it. Just a real quick story, so you guys can see what happens, where the money goes for MOvember. If you guys want to know, it again, it helps with long-term improvements for mental health. See, this is a new one. Video game. We like video games. Yeah. What does that do for us? Brew Valley.
This is my Mr. Harrow. Exactly like me. Indecisive, but noisy. A world-class procrastinator. The planet's on fire. But he's like, let me overthink this for 8 hours first. He pokes into everything, talks to everyone. He even inspects garbage, just in case there's lore. Honestly, I can't tell if I'm controlling him or if he's just me with better posture.
This is my Eugene Harrow, stuck in a 47-minute time loop. And you know what? That kind of sounds like my Tuesday. He doesn't move much, but he listens to weird late-night docs, to people who don't know they're saying something that matters.
Some trees will keep growing toward the sun, even after being struck by lightning.
Good for them. He needs some therapy, but maybe saving the universe, then documentaries.
This is my badass Harrow. He says what I wish I could say. He punches vending machines, tells people off, doesn't second guess, just goes. He's not unkind. He's just done pretending to be okay. Me? I'd apologize to a chair for bumping into it. But this guy, he flips off the sky, and when it explodes, he doesn't flinch. They broke your time. Go get him, bro. Your Mr. Harrow will be available November 11th, 2025. Ha!
Man, look at that one, I think. All right. Well, guys, thanks again for hanging out with me today. I do apologize for a little bit of the chaoticness of it all, but I want to thank each and every one of you guys for hanging out with me. Like I said, I've seen a lot of names that are in there that have come in to support me, and I appreciate you guys for being here. Quiet shout outs to all of you guys, and Saturn, and to one girl, Mace. Who else come in there? We had Huldra. Thank you for coming in, your lovely support. MOvember, of course, definitely for being there and looking after me. Thank you guys for Muckett as well. Thanks, man, for being here. Wookie, Rose, you guys are actually superstars, and I really appreciate you guys. Now, I feel a little awkward about rating anybody from here because this is kind of what we do. AR, of course, there's AR. And like I said, we'll have the mics on. So if you guys, those guys that want to come in and have a chat, by all means, it's what we're here for. We want to thank you guys for being a part of it. And we want to support you guys as well. If there's any questions, if you got any concerns, whether you're asking for yourself or a friend or a partner, by all means, ask away. Let's see if together collectively we can kind of come with the answers. And like I said, I'm not the answer to it all, but I'm hoping I can be a conduit and get you guys in the right direction, and we can help each other out. Because trust me, it helps me. It helps me a lot to be here. It helps me a lot to I learn a lot from talking to you guys as well about myself and about how I work through my own sort of issues. And but we get there in the end. Until then, guys, I love your faces. You guys are amazing and awesome. And remember, you guys are the light to my darkness. Now I'm in tears because you love this is awesome, and it breaks me. Oh, Saturday, mate, you're a superstar, buddy. I love you. I love you to bits, and you're definitely one of my favorite people at the moment. So let's get out there, and we'll keep smiling, guys. Keep doing what you can. And if you're having a rough day, keep the light on. Just remember, come share all my light. I've got plenty of fuel for you. Until next time, guys. I love your faces. I'll see you guys tomorrow. With Mama Bear and I are going to be hanging out and doing our thing. So that will be what, not Wednesday your time, but Wednesday night your time. All right, so Mama Bear we'll see what we're doing now. I'll chat with her. Until then, guys, I love your faces.